Welcome to Walk Up with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 and 11. Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in holy conversation and godliness? And I'm going to repeat those. Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which of the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Peter shows up nicely on an ideal that has been raised many times by Christ before. That the true value of a man is measured not by what he has, but by what he may do without. When all is burnt up, when all possessions and vainglories are dissolved, when all but our body remains, who amongst us can truly claim to be able to find comfort only in God? Who amongst us could claim still to be able to stand before the Lord thankfully and be glad? The question thrown up by Peter is not a command to cast off our worldly goods and comfort, but rather it is a challenge to Christians, to challenge us to look within ourselves and to ask who we are truly and what is truly necessary in front of our Lord. What truly matters to us. Does the earthly things matter to us more than our relationship with God? Does that big house matter to us? And it doesn't even have to be materialistic things. It could be your alcohol. Is that alcohol way more important than your relationship with God? Is those drugs way more important than your relationship with God? Is that music? Some of us have those talents and gifts that God has gifted us. And we even put that, the very person who gave it to us, before God. You go like the fastest runner and you just get up and you run every day. You put that first in everything, before yourself, before others, and before God. You're going to fall and break your leg, and then you will no longer be able to run. Then what are you going to do? Same thing with drawing and painting. The best artists in the world. And you're more in love with the arts than you are with God. You can lose your sight and no longer be able to paint. When God comes, none of that is going to matter. But what is going to matter is us. And our relationship with God. It's not enough just to be a Christian. It's not enough just to call yourself a Christian. There's going to be many people that's going to be sitting there thinking, waiting in that line at the pearly gates, and God's going to walk right on by and skip you and tell you to move it on. Keep it moving. You'll be like, but God, why? I'm a preacher. I've been preaching in your name. I've brought a lot of people to the church. I've done a lot of this. Here's the thing. You didn't do nothing. God did that. And the fact that you recognize that you did and not God did is the very reason why God does not know you. You're putting yourself and the things that he had given you, the gifts that he had given you, above him. Nothing comes before God. Nothing should be placed above God. A lot of people seem to think that that just means materialistic things. There's people that will put their spouse above any and everything. And they wonder why that person that they love so much can't stand them, does them wrong. But I do this and that for you. I buy you gifts every day. They're running you over because you're placing them above any and everything, including yourself. It doesn't work that way. You should place nobody above God and nobody above yourself. There's people who do that for their children. Oh, I'll do any and everything. Yes, you're supposed to do any and everything for your children, but you do not place your children above God. You do not place your children above yourself. Because here's the thing about children. You keep spoiling them too much, and they're going to do you wrong. And I can testify to that. I spoiled my kids too much, and all they did was just rob me blind. Not all three of my children. Two of my children, that's for sure. Because they all have their demons inside them. Everybody has their own demons. And sometimes they allow those demons to take control of them. Sometimes those demons will not allow them to be who they are. Sometimes we got to remember that those are not our children. First of all, they're God's children. There was a gift that he sent us, but they're still his children. And sometimes those are not our children because they are possessed by the devil and his demons to bring you down, to keep you from getting closer to God. If you're supposed to do something very special that God needs you to do and has set for you, the devil will use any and everything he can to keep you from doing that, including possessing your children, including having your children turn against you and against God. That includes your spouse. If you're paying those things more attention than you are to God and then yourself, God would show you the placement and the order real quick by taking those things from you. You're to place nobody above him. He's a very jealous God, and he keeps saying that you will place nobody above me. Nothing above him. No body, no materialistic things, no special gifts. Because those can all disappear. But your relationship with God is how you're going to determine where you're going to go. Because when he comes, all those things will be burnt up. All those things will be gone. But the only thing that's going to still stand is your relationship with God. And if you have one or not. And if you don't have one, you're going to have a good, then that means you got one with the devil. And guess where you're going to be for the rest of all eternity? You're either going to be with God or you're going to be with Satan. It's your choice. You build that relationship. A lot of people think that you have a good relationship with God, but you actually got a more better relationship with Satan, and you just don't realize it. Let me go ahead and get on to prayer, because we're running out of time, and it's probably going to get cut off. Lord, I stand before you, cleansed of all my possessions. Naked, I pray, Lord, that my soul still remains pure and worthy of your praise. Show me strength in your mercy and trust in your word. as the only everlasting truth in my life.